Alright guys, so I'm pretty much gonna do this recap of 2019. I figured that now that the year's over, we could look back and see some of the cool things that have gone down. So I'm thinking I'm going to start with my choice for upset of 2019. My choice was Jessica Andrade's slam KO of Thug Rose. Yeah, that to me by far is the biggest upset of 2019. A lot of people were thinking that Rose was gonna continue her dominance as champion, and so did I. She was a slight favorite. I believe she was 2-1, maybe almost 3-1. But yeah, it was definitely a shocker. She was in hostile territory in Brazil against Jessica, but she's a veteran. I didn't think that she was gonna make such a mistake. It could happen to anybody. Keep holding on too long to a submission, but it is what it is. Jessica became champion, and that was a huge, huge upset. Moving on, I gave a breakout performance in 2019 to Weili. Speaking of that slam KO of Thug Rose, for Weili to take out Jessica after that, in such an impressive fashion in which he did. It was the first round. It wasn't even close. Jessica wasn't even in the fight. So that just that just goes to show you that Weili, she's on her way. I'm calling it the breakout performance because that's what it was. So props to Weili on that one. China in the house. Now moving on, I got comeback fighter of 2019. Now on this one, I was gonna pick one, but then I realized that there were two. Justin Gaethje, man, that guy went from losing to Justin Poirier to knocking out James Vick, knocking out Edson Barbosa, and knocking out Donald Cowboy Cerrone. Wow. Now, even just saying that out loud, it's just fucking crazy. So, big ups to Justin on that. He's looking at a big fight coming up. A lot of people have been saying that he might fight Connor next. So, I hope he does. I hope he, remains on the sidelines until that fight, comes to fruition. Definitely wouldn't want to see him taking a fight against Dustin Poirier in a rematch. I was there live, and Dustin pieced him up, and he's looking to make a rebound, and he didn't get stopped. He didn't get stopped against Holloway. He did get stopped against Habib's, but I don't know. Stylistic matchups, and I hope he waits for that Connor matchup. But the other fighter that I did have making a comeback in 2019 was Francis Ngannou. He went from losing to Stipe Miocic to knocking out um, Curtis Blades, knocking out Velasquez, and knocking out JDS. That's impressive, man. Uh, Contender and two former champions. Now, those are feathers in your cap for sure. Um, the rising star of 2019, I gave it to Dominick Reyes. The reason why is I feel that he put a good amount of work in 2019, and now he's gonna reap the rewards, and he's gonna get a title shot in 2020. So Dominick Reyes had some great fights. 2019, one of his highlights was knocking out Chris Weidman. So definitely a big year for Dominic. When it comes to fighter of the year, I'm gonna give it to Jorge Masvidal. Obviously, you can't go against all the things he did throughout the year. He started off with knocking out Darren Till, moving on to record-setting KO of Askren, and then he took out your boy Nate Diaz in the badass motherfucker title. So you can't go against that. Jorge Masvidal, game bred. He's a fighter of the year for a reason. Now, do I think he got KO of the year? No. Now I'll tell you why. Who did I give knockout of the year to? Israel, the last Albendro Adesanya. Now, why did I give him KO of the year over Jorge Masvidal? While Jorge Masvidal's record-setting KO was impressive and it was flashy and it was probably the most how would you say this, popular KO of the year. I feel that Israel Adesanya's knockout of Robert Whittaker in the second round was way more important, just for the history of the sport and just how it went down. If you look at it, Robert Whittaker was a dominant champion. He got dropped in the end of the first, and he got finished in the second. So he pretty much got knocked out twice in one fight, which is super impressive. After he had defended the title against Yoel Romero, he had beaten up so many contenders leading up to the championship. So, man, I just couldn't believe that Izzy was able to get it done in 2 rounds, and he did it fairly easy. So, just based off of that, I'm gonna give the KO of the year to Izzy. He definitely deserves it. And moving on, fight of the year. A lot of people gave it to Israel Adesanya versus Kevin Gastelum. Now, I think that fight was great. It was one of the best fights of the year for sure, if not the best. Some people are calling it their best. But although these guys did leave it all out there and had a 5-round war, I feel that these guys who just recently threw down Usman and Covington, you got to give it to them, man. Those guys were way more fucking, jeez, like evenly matched. They just kept going for it, and I just feel that it just made for a much more interesting matchup. I mean, it's like picking apples and oranges, why this one's my favorite over the Izzy and Gaslam. But I don't know. As I was watching, I just couldn't believe that these guys were putting in such a great performance at the end of the year with all the great fights that had gone on throughout 2019. And these guys were, giving everybody a run for their money. And just for that alone, I think that speaks volumes. And the fact that Usman was able to defend the belt and, you know, take out Kobe like that, and all the bad blood, all the shit talking, he was able to silence it all. Man, impressive fight, impressive showing by Usman. Respect for Kobe for coming out with a broken jaw. But that's what you get, boy, for talking all that shit. Alright, later, you guys.